So basically today we're going to be talking about an infinite money glitch. It's not infinite, but it will earn you lots and lots of money. It's very unethical in the eyes of, the man bound by chains to societal norms. So essentially, and I'm just going to rip the band-aid off real quick and get right into it. So basically what you want to do is you want to go into a low income environment, and you want to find some people that are addicted to certain substances like heroin, crack, cocaine, meth. Maybe not cocaine. That one's not potent enough. It doesn't melt the brain as much. But basically, you want to find these dope addicts, and they can't be so far gone that they're like in the, mummification stages, the latter stages of, being a fiend. Like they still have to function and have like moderate motor skills. Anyways, you're gonna find them, and you're gonna like get a group of them, and it doesn't need to be. This is not like a, it doesn't have to be a large workforce. It can be a low-key project. Obviously, the more crackheads you have, the more money you can get from this method, and you'll see why further down the road while I'm explaining. So basically, you want to find them. I think 6 is like a good bare minimum. It's enough to be decent, uh, and you could always upgrade from there, of course. So essentially, what you want to do is get, like I said, 6 of them at minimum, and that's not that hard to do. And you got to think about it. Let's dive into the psychology of this, because I know if I just say the method and explain it, then you're not gonna follow it, because you're gonna think it's retarded. But you're the retarded one. I hate to break it to you, but you're actually mentally retarded. Um, so basically, let's break down the psychology of being a dope addict. These people are extremely motivated. It just happens that they're only motivated by one thing. See, a normal person who's not addicted to any substances, they're moderately motivated, highly motivated maybe, but that's across the board. Their motivation is spread across all surfaces. A dope addict, a dope fiend, they are only motivated by the act or acquisition of more dope. They will climb Mount Everest with open wounds on the bottom of their feet and no shirt on their back to get some dope. And I'm not even kidding. I've seen it before. I'm seeing them climb, jagged, sharp, mountains and cliffs in China. I've seen it all. So essentially, what you're gonna do is promise these crackheads, meth heads, heroin fucking heads, whatever you refer to them as. You're gonna promise them with more drugs, if they complete a certain task. Now, what is this task? Going to abandoned buildings, schools, apartment buildings, factories, any sort of large abandoned building, and stripping the copper piping out of the walls. Uh, which is, copper is an expensive metal. Very good, very nice. So basically, you're gonna offer them more drugs. You're not gonna give it to them up front, because then they're just gonna probably crawl back into their like rocky hole or whatever. They're gonna crawl back into the substrate and never speak to you again. Um, so you have to strategically move here. It's kind of like, it's like manipulation, but it's okay because they're junkies. Anyways, so you're not gonna give it to them up front. You're gonna promise it to them at a later date, and they're so motivated by this, they could literally see that you're obviously lying. They don't care. It's like their brain's on autopilot. They hear the word dope, they'll do anything, anything. They'll kill somebody, which is also, yeah, you could get a hitman that way. Just drop in some fun facts in here in case you want to use that. So basically, you say, hey, I'm gonna give you more meth, if you go to that building with these other guys and take all the copper piping out of the walls. So they do that. Pretty simple. They just take it out. Maybe you can grab like a cheap wrench or something, or like some sort of object. I'm sure you can find tools in abandoned buildings, or steal them. And then it doesn't take that much. It's not a precision job. You just hit the pipes in the walls until they fall out. Bend them until they snap. Copper's very soft metal. You can do that. So it doesn't need to be clean. It doesn't need to be precise or surgical in any regard at all. So now you're actually going to have to follow through with the promise of drugs. Yes, I know, but this gets better. That sounds like a a negative because you have to pay these kind of pseudo proxy employees. They're not real employees, but they kind of think they are, but they are at first. So afterwards, you sell all the copper piping for money. You get the money, and you got to make sure you build up quite a stockpile of the copper beforehand. You can't go into like the scrapyard with a pound of copper. You're gonna get like one, like you're gonna get like 50 cents for that. You gotta get a lot of this shit, man. And you gotta go to the right scrapyard, and you gotta go to those ones where they don't care about morality at all. You could literally have bloodstains all over the copper piping and an eyeball inside of it, and they wouldn't fucking care. They'd just be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's it's metal, so I'm gonna take it." You gotta find it. Maybe you'll have some sources, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have to play the field. That's not my area of expertise exactly. So you find one of these scrap yards, you sell or sell the copper there for money. So now you have the money. You go to a crack dealer, heroin dealer, meth dealer, uh, and you buy a small amount. Not like a small amount for one person, but a small amount for your special team. And basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna ration this out. You're gonna give them like just enough where they're like happy, and so it's kind of suffices them. Because if you give them too little, if you give a crackhead not enough crack, they're gonna kill you. Like if you give it to them and they're like, oh, this isn't enough, they're gonna split your skull open and eat you, like eat your actual flesh, like eat you, like cannibal type shit. So you definitely don't want that to happen because that will cease the process of living, which means you can't hustle and make money. Kind of defeats the whole purpose. So you give them just enough crack so they're happy, but not too much that it breaks the bank. Um, so you're basically like rationing them out like Japanese World War II soldiers. Pretty chill, pretty chill. Some lessons from history there. And essentially you just keep doing this, reaping the profit. And to be honest, you could just keep doing this infinitely. Well, not infinitely. Eventually, you'd get caught, which is the reason I'm going to talk about this next thing. But you could. It's safe to cut this off sooner rather than later. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to slowly cut down on the already thin amount of crack rations. You're going to give them less and less each time, and you might only do this like once a month because you're going to have to build up enough copper to make you know a reasonable amount of money for your work. So you're going to cut down on the rations, and eventually they are going to start getting mad. Who are you going to blame it on? The crack dealer. You're going to blame it on the drug dealer, say that he's not giving you all the crack that you're supposed to be getting with your money. And then start seeding lies in their heads. Just say oh, he's jealous of our hustle. He's jealous of us. He thinks we're doing better than him because we're getting this copper money, man. He doesn't want to give us the drugs. Oh, dude, they'll go insane. So you basically are you organize like a paramilitary death squad of crackheads. You don't direct them or anything because you could get into a little bit of trouble for that. You could like lose your job, I think. But you essentially they'll just do their own thing. They'll just do their own thing. It's like a bee to a flower. They know what to do, and they will go to that crackhead and they will Swiss cheese that boy. And essentially why you're doing this is to just stop any evidence from formulating or persisting. Because once the crack dealer's dead, he's obviously not going to be able to tell the police anything. The crackheads are going to be the ones charged with murder. As long as you don't leave any like really strong traces to them, and the scrapyard that you're selling the scrap at is an immoral one, it's gonna be really hard to trace you. And I have a feeling the crackheads probably aren't even lucid enough to coherently snitch on you, and I don't think they would. Anyways, I think they'd probably honestly just like attack the cops and die in the process, which is the deletion of evidence even further. But it's not a reliable method. It's just kind of you get lucky. It's like finding a quarter on the street. You can't count on it to happen, but when it does, it's a certainly a bonus. Yeah, and you just do this in cycles. I recommend like maybe 3 times a year. Uh, Maybe 4 if you're really crunching down. You gotta, you gotta have some time with the family though, time to, do other stuff. And yeah, that's basically my money method. And for any federal authorities watching this, I've never done this. I've never done this. I've never done this at all. And this entire video is a joke. It's actually, I'm doing this as a school project actually. This is a school project. My teacher said make the most morally irreprehensible video you can possibly think of, and I made this one. So I'm probably gonna get an A. And this is a tutorial you should definitely not follow. If you don't have morals and you just want money, and you live in a low-income environment, do not do this. Very bad. And don't follow my tutorial step by step. Certainly don't do that. Anyways, see y'all in the next one. Swag on 100 trillion, and yeah, that's the method. That's all there is to it. It's quite simple. I'd recommend journaling it. Write it down in a notebook so you can keep track. Anyways, farewell.